Hi, I'm Amber, and as part of my job at Suntan City, I train new employees on how to deep clean all of our equipment. So for my presentation today, I'm going to show you how to deep clean our Mystic Tan, which is one of our spray tans. The first thing I always like to go over with people is things that you'll need. One of the first things is a screwdriver, because there's a back panel that we do have to unscrew. Another thing is obviously scrub brushes of various types, sizes, heavy be it. Hot water to spray off the walls. Then we also use a general purpose cleaner just as a disinfectant, and also gets the color out of the walls. And glass cleaner, which again just gives it like the nice shine, because as you'll see the walls in here are white, so it's very difficult to get all of the color out of them. And finally, lots and lots of towels. The first thing that we always do when opening the Mystic is you'll always want to spray any surface that a client could have touched with our general purpose cleaner. So just spray that down. As you may or may not be able to see on the door here, some of the color is already starting to come off, which we don't want any of that color to be able to be seen. And then when you get in, you'll spray out all of the walls, anything interior. Again, all of the color will continue to come off. And as you're doing this, you just want to make sure that, like, if you see any of the boosts, you just continue to get all of it off. You'll also want to spray the mechanism. This is what actually sprays out the solution and back in any of the moving parts, as well as the button. And the wall behind the tower here is very important because there is a lot of color back on that wall, as you can see. And there's also some pipes and other equipment back there for drainage that you'll just want to spray down. After that, you'll just want to make sure you spray out the floor really well. And the next thing you'll do is you'll take a Mystic cartridge full of the hot water, and you'll just put that in just like you're running a normal session. This is just going to get any of the excess cartridge fluid or any of the metal pieces out. And then basically what we do is we just run it like we're running a Mystic Tan session.
Mystic Tan. To begin your session,
this is exactly what we would do if someone came in to do a spray tan. However, this is just a water, just to flush everything out. So just hold your hand in front of the sensor until the machine decides it wants to go. Sometimes you actually physically have to touch it to get it to go.
Please move
while it's
to the
purging,
number position
you definitely want to close
and
the
stand
door.
with your left
The
foot
next
on
thing that
number
I do is
1
I always
and
clean
your right foot on number 3.
everything in the room off.
Spraying starts in 3, 2, 1.
Definitely the barrier cream, all of the posters, that towel rack, all of that. And just wipe everything down just so you're making good use of your time while the Mystic is flushing itself out. And as you can see, the color kind of runs off the walls. This is definitely a very dirty spray tan room. And another thing that you can do while that is going is you'll want to go back here where that panel that will unscrew after it's done purging is, and just spray all in there just so that the color comes out. I always make sure to wipe off all of the insides, all the outsides of the booth as well. Right around the track, it can get pretty gross. Just want to wipe all of that off. And wipe the floor mat off as well, just so no one slips. The next thing we want to do is just hit the red purge button over here, just to get any excess air out.
Purge activated. Please close the door.
What that's going to do is if there's any like extra foil from the Mystic Cap or any extra solution there, it's going to squirt all of that out as well as the extra water from the cartridge. If there's any extra water, you always just want to dump it out. And then the next thing you'll do is you want to get back in the booth and wipe down everything that you can, getting as much color up as is possible. Because our walls are white, you can pretty much see any like hand swipes or anything like that. It'll definitely be like in the grain of the plastic on the wall here. So you get all the walls as best as you can. And then the next thing that we have to do, we need this screwdriver for. There is a back panel on the wall here. Basically just comes unscrewed. It's got 3 screws. Be a little difficult to get out sometimes. Alright, I usually just take out the bottom 2. You don't need to take all of them out. Just set these in a safe place so they don't get lost. And then you want to take the bottle of water and just spray up behind this here. Just move it out of the way. Just spray everything out. Then you'll just want to get a towel and clean all of the excess solution and color off. After that, I always spray the walls down thoroughly with water just to get any of the excess all-purpose general cleaner off, just as it can be a little tough to breathe in, so we don't want to leave any of that residue. Again, you just want to get behind all the walls, which all the color will just run off. As well as everything else in the booth. Once the water's there, that's when you want to take one of the brushes. I usually prefer one of these with a handle and just scrub at the wall until the color stops coming out. After that, again, just spray down with water. The goal of this is basically just to get all of the color out of the walls, which again, with the white walls is really difficult to do, so we have to be super careful so everything shows, especially when someone does like a bronzer additive boost. You can definitely see all the color from that. And you'll just want to take more towels and just wipe all the walls off. The door, get the door as best as you can. Ours is kind of stained, so not all of everything comes out of this. The biggest secret is just make sure you don't reuse the towel too many times, because that's when the color won't come out anymore, because you're basically just re-wiping and re-putting the color back in. At this point, when you've gotten all the walls to the best of your ability, you'll just want to re-screw in that back panel. So be careful that you don't drop the screws, because if they go down in the drain, you're never going to get them back. And this is very important to make sure this is on, otherwise the spray will end up all over the back wall here, which has happened a time or two. Definitely makes for a big mess. And after the last screw is back in, the last thing you want to do is take glass cleaner. Usually this works very well to get all the color, for the most part, out of the door. This just gives it a nice kind of a shine and kind of hides any of the color you can't get out. So you just want to lightly spray it on the walls. Down here definitely gets really disgusting, so you have to make sure that all the color comes out of there. And then after that, I'm just going to re-wipe everything down again. Making sure to get really good down in here, because that's where all the color kind of like hides down by the edges. Now all of this solution and water has been going down in the tracks on the floor here. So it really doesn't exactly have a drain of sorts. So the last thing you have to do is just take a big bath towel and just dry off the floor. And that's when you really have to get very good down in the track. Make sure you're soaking up all the color. And then you'll want to take the pin out of the tower, swing the tower forward, and get everything out from behind the wall. So wipe the back walls very good, the pipes that are back here, and the plumbing equipment, as well as there's basically like a little runoff reservoir back here you have to clean out as well. Once that's done, the very tricky part is getting this tower lined up correctly and back into place. Otherwise it'll move when someone's trying to spray, which that's not good, then they'll come all scraping even. Alright, and then once that's back in place, just make sure you've got every little bit of color that you can on the floor. We only do this at the end of the night, obviously because it's a very extensive process, but we always sanitize the floor every time the client uses the booth. And as you can see, it's much cleaner than it was. Very few traces of color in there. After watching my presentation today, you should, for the most part, understand how to deep clean our Mystic, which is, again, one of our spray booths, and the proper maintenance on it. Thank you!